Hi, this is Mike Brown, owner of Death Wish Coffee Company. Welcome to Fueled by Deathcast.
I love Jeff, but sweet and hot. Whoop, Mr. Motorama coffee spot.
Death Wish Coffee presents Fueled by Deathcast, the world's strongest podcast. With your hosts, the incredible Jeff and the amazing D-Man.
Welcome, everybody. It is Fueled by Death show because we've rebranded a little bit and we're going to have new bumps for that. We're going to have everything else, but welcome to the Fueled by Death show. It's episode 72. We're excited to have you all here, and I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to be back.
Yeah, man, it was nice to be gone and get away from our phones and the internet for a little bit, but it's also nice to be back to that cold upstate New York weather.
It's getting a little better. We're finally starting to see spring, but yeah, it's definitely nice to be back. I am the incredible Jeff.
And I am the amazing D-Man.
And we're, like I said, really excited that you're all watching with us at our new time in prime time. And if you want to follow us on social media, both Dustin and myself do a lot on Instagram, and we're getting better at Twitter. And that's where you can find behind the scenes of this show and the company and everything else. It's very easy. I am at Jeff Wish Coffee.
And I am at Death Wish Dustin.
Yes. And if this is your first time joining the show, this is how it goes down. All you got to do is, if you're watching this live, you share this feed on Facebook and then comment in those comments, shared. And then we're going to pick a lucky winner at the end of the episode to win this mug. And this week, it is the 2018 Death Wish Hammer mug.
I can't believe how popular this mug is.
So popular.
I'm having a hard time keeping this in stock.
I know. I had a hard time finding one on the shelf to give away for the show this week.
Yeah, it's very popular, and I totally understand why. It's an amazingly badass looking mug, and you can get this for free.
Yeah.
And all you have to do is share the episode and let us know what you did, and we'll get this right out to you if you want it.
Yeah. And it's that easy. Once again, comment shared. We'll pick a winner at the end.
Jeff, tell them why you might be a little bit more red than usual, other than wearing a red shirt.
That's true. Well, we just got back from sponsoring the Salty Dog Cruise. It's a cruise put on by the incredible band Flogging Molly. And it was a weekend-long cruise where started in Miami, went to Key West, went to the Bahamas and back, and we were the official coffee on that cruise. And that was excellent to meet all of the fans of all these punk bands and all the bands themselves and how much they enjoyed Death Wish Coffee. It really felt great to be a part of that.
Yeah, we weren't only we were not only the official coffee on the boat, we were the only coffee on the boat.
Yeah.
So if you were on that boat, you were drinking Death Wish coffee, and we kept on saying over and over again, I'm glad we sponsored this cruise just to be able to drink Death Wish while we're on here.
Yeah.
When you have an unlimited amount of alcohol.
Because it was open bar all cruise long.
And not just one bar, all the bars throughout the boat and on the islands. That strong coffee really helps you get going. And, when you're walking around on a boat that's waving back and forth the whole time, your legs get sore. So a nice cup of coffee in the morning really got things going for us. It really is great to work for this company, if nothing else, just to get that awesome coffee in my system.
Oh, it's the truth. It's the truth. And just so you guys know, we chronicled it all between us and the awesome Thomas Dragonetti, and I'm going to put all that together into a super spectacular episode that'll show you kind of what that's all about, because we want everyone to go next year.
Yeah.
Boy, was that fun. And
if you can't go, this would be a great way to get an idea of what's going on.
Because we had no idea.
Here's the thing. There's a lot of events in this world that are these amazing events that happen, and if you go to it, it's like 100% a chance that you're going to have a good time, because it is just such an amazing thing. And what we like to do with the spectacular episodes is kind of highlight why that is, and this might have been one of the most spectacular events that we participated in.
For sure.
So if you're wondering why, watching the spectacular episode will definitely fill you in on what it's like to be on this cruise.
Mm-hmm.
It was just fucking fantastic.
Mind blowing, and we'll have all that for you next week along with a brand new show.
Jeff, I wasn't gonna hit you. I'm sorry. No. People are gonna think I beat you.
You should see what happens when the cameras are turned off.
I beat him. But we kept on saying over and over again, it's like MTV's Spring Break in the 90s. It was insanity. It was debauchery. It really was. It was like pure debauchery, and you just can't fight. A lot of people are like, come by, have a good time, we're gonna be debaucherous, and it's like, no, that's not debauchery. This cruise was pure debauchery, and I loved it.
And so once again, look for that next week, which is great. I gotta thank our good friend Brock Powell,
BrockVox.com.
He is the voice actor behind all the voices on this show and 1,000 other voices in the world. And we love him. Like I said, we've got some new stuff in the works. We rebranded this as a show, which it is because you're watching it. So we're going to have a little bit of a new intro that he's going to do and a couple new bumps and stuff like that. But I've been telling you every week that he's doing all these incredible things. And he's doing something incredible that finally got announced. I've known about this for like a month and been chomping at the bit wanting to tell everybody, but he couldn't say anything, so we couldn't say anything. But if you're a fan of video games, you're going to want to know about this. That's right. He's in the brand new God of War series out for the PlayStation console. It's an incredible video game. It's one of my favorites, one of my all-time favorite video games.
Yeah, it's one of those games where it's a badass movie that you get to interact with.
Yeah.
I love that style of video games, that action RPG style, and it's there's so many good games out there like this, and we're so excited that Brock gets to be a part of this world, and it seems like a pretty big part.
Yeah, and he's a bad guy. All he told me is he's a bad guy in the game. He has a great death scene because obviously everybody dies in the damn game. And he just released this photo that I have up now on his Instagram, and with the cryptic words from Game of Thrones, dark wings, dark words.
He's a fucking dragon.
And I'm wondering if he's a dragon or some sort of harpy or something like that.
Nope, he's a dragon. Calling it now. You heard me say it. He's a fucking dragon.
But congrats to Brock for being a part of that franchise. So cool that he got to lend his talent, his voice to this game.
Yeah, we're very excited for him, and we're sure that you're going to hear a lot more of Brock Powell in the future because this guy really puts in the work. Very inspirational, and we couldn't be happier to have him as our voiceover guy for the Fueled by Death show.
That is the truth.
Secret code unlocked. Discount of death.
So this week, and this week only, if you type in the discount code MILLION, Jeff.
MILLION.
That will nail you 15% off of everything on deathwishcoffee.com, and that will go until Wednesday, May 2nd. This is probably the best discount code that we give away not only on the podcast, but as the company. We just don't give away a discount this big normally.
That's true.
So take advantage of it. It's there for you to use and save $1 million.
We wanted to be you guys to save $1 million, but I don't think we'd have jobs after that.
You'd have to, yeah. Well, you could save $1 million if you buy a lot of shit.
Yeah, if you buy like $2 million worth of shit.
No, I don't know. I would need to crunch the numbers. I can figure that out, though.
But 15% off of everything, all the coffee, all the merchandise, all this week long. And I'm sure you're wondering why it's million.
It's because we had the $1 Million Man on the show. We were so excited to talk to Ted. He was so kind, and he told us some of the best stories about Andre the Giant, how he came up with his character, the $1 Million Man, what it was like in the early days of professional wrestling, which was a traveling circus of madness.
Yeah, like we got to talk about the early part of the career, when he became $1 Million Man, everything in between. He since has retired from the ring, but he's very active in the community still. In fact, he was just a special guest at the most recent WrestleMania number 34 there. But man, so amazing to talk to someone like him and with the outlook that he has on life. And there's a brand new documentary about him actually put out by him and his son that's you can buy on iTunes right now. And We talk about that. We talk about his ministry. We talk about wrestling, life. I'm so excited for you to see the episode coming tomorrow, but we have a sneak peek for you right here.
The Fueled by Death guest.
Is there any angle or storyline that you think fondly back on from that time that kind of enjoyed being that character and got to do?
Well, the one thing that they did, the one angle that was shot that I just think was one of the greatest ever, was the one that really catapulted me to being a big star, and that was when Market Square Arena, Saturday night main event on NBC, and it was the first time that professional wrestling had been on live network television since the 1950s. And the match was the first time that Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant had gotten back in the ring since WrestleMania 3, where Hulk won. Yep. But the story was that I had bought the services of Andre. Andre was going to beat Hogan and sell me the title. Yeah. My whole deal was I can buy everything, including the world title.
Yeah.
And of course, I didn't know until that night that Dave Hebner had an identical twin. And so twin referees, and it was just great. One referee goes down and he's out, and his identical twin runs down there to the ring, and Andre does something to Hogan and goes down and covers him, and the referee goes 1, 2, and Hogan's shoulder's 3 feet off the mat. The referee just goes ahead and counts 3, rings the bell, and gives the belt to Andre, declares him champion. Andre brings me in the ring, wraps the belt around my waist, and I carried the belt for, I guess, probably a week or maybe a week and a half. And then, of course, the then acting, storyline, Jack Tunney, the president of the WWF, declares default, you're not the champion because you didn't win the belt. We can't give it back to Andre because he won't take it, because he technically won it.
Yeah.
And he's been paid off, and we can't give it to Hogan because he technically lost it. So what do? We have a tournament to declare a new champion, which was WrestleMania 4.
Yeah,
it's genius.
Yeah,
it's pure gold.
Yeah.
One of the greatest storylines ever.
Science.
Oh boy, it's science time. So,
we're going back in space, aren't we?
Yes, we are, and this is a topic actually we talked about. I want to say like almost a month ago, when we were talking about how NASA and a couple other space exploration agencies are working towards putting up instruments and spacecraft in space specifically for looking for new planets, new exoplanets. And we talked about this recently, and one of those got shot up into space just the other week.
I thought you were going to say got shot out of space. And it's like, who did it?
No, it's the TESS mission is underway, and this is going to be something I'm going to want to revisit as we continue to get data over the next couple years from this. This is NASA's Transiting Exoplanet Survey Satellite, or TESS. And it had a successful launch on April 18th from Cape Canaveral, Florida, right on atop the SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket. That Falcon 9 rocket is just proving its worth in gold. It is running smoothly every time it's happening, and it's reusable. It's great that we've got SpaceX doing something like that. Now, this is the planet-hunting spacecraft, and it's deployed specifically to scan the skies for worlds that could be habitable, ones that could even support life. Now, we've looked at that before by using Hubble or Kepler or that kind of stuff, but those satellites, those telescopes are up there for 1,000 other reasons. This is specific for this, which is really exciting. And I actually have a couple clips that I'll play as we're talking of the launch of the rocket launching up and the satellite being deployed. I always love seeing that from SpaceX and from NASA. Over the course of the next several weeks, though, TESS will burn its thrusters for a total of 6 times, which will keep elongating its orbit until it hits the moon. Then it'll use the moon like a slingshot and sling it right back into Earth and get into the better orbit that it needs to be in. And this is all mathematically tested out and exactly the way that the spacecraft has to work to make sure that all of the instruments, the telescope, everything are going to be working properly before it starts its 2-year-long mission, which is pretty neat. That's a 60-day final check of all its systems. And Dr. George Ricker, the principal investigator at MIT's Kavli Institute for Astrophysics and Space Research, said one critical piece for the science return of TESS is the high data rate associated with its orbit. Each time the spacecraft passes close to Earth, it will transmit full-frame images taken with the cameras. That's one of the unique things TESS brings that was never possible before, and I think that's really, really cool. This is the first ever spacecraft that we've put up and deployed into space specifically to scan the skies for exoplanets. Now, we're going to send up a couple more in the over the next decade, and we did talk about that, but this one is up there right now, and that's really, really cool. For its 2-year mission, the astronomers have divided the sky into 26 different sectors. And it's going to scan, over the course of the first year, it's going to scan 13 of these sectors. And then the second year, the next 13. And for a total of 85% of the visible sky, it will scan for these exoplanets. And that's really neat.
So we'll really have a good grasp of the stars and planets that we're looking at right from Earth. For
sure. And a big question is how does it discern a star from a planet? Like, well, how are you going to do that? It looks for something called transits. And what a transit is when a planet, very off in the distance, actually passes in front of its star. Like if Earth were to pass in front of the sun, way far away, you'll see that starlight flicker just a little bit. And they can measure that. So therefore, that could be a planet. And then they can start to zero in on it and really start to see, is it an exoplanet? Is it habitable? Could it support life? Those types of things.
Does it already have life?
Does it already have life? TESS will focus on stars between 30 and 300 light years away and 30 to 100 times brighter than the ones discovered by NASA's Kepler Space Telescope. Kepler has found 2,600 exoplanets since it has been deployed. And you have to think, again, that is on top of all the other stuff Kepler's been looking at, in the universe. Now we have an instrument that is specifically looking. Who knows how many exoplanets we can find. The brightness of these target stars will allow astronomers to use spectroscopy, which is the study of the absorption and emission of the light, to determine the planet's mass, to determine the planet's density, atmospheric composition. Water and other key molecules in its atmosphere can give us hints about the planet's capacity to harbor life.
So with this, we don't necessarily have to go directly to the planet to figure out what it's made of and what it's all about.
Right.
Which is great. So we just launch something into space that kind of travels around and gets a closer look, doesn't necessarily land on these planets and doesn't necessarily have to.
Right. It's really, really interesting. And the more the tech gets better and better, the more we can, really discern from the data that we collect just from this distant star that could be 300 light years away, which is crazy. The targets TESS finds are going to be fantastic subjects for research for decades to come. It's the beginning of a new era of exoplanet research, said Dr. Stephen Reinhardt, the TESS project scientist at NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center. According to NASA, TESS will collect 27 gigabytes per day in its all-sky search for undiscovered planets orbiting 200,000 stars. And its first public release of this data will be in early 2019. What's very interesting is this 27 gigabytes of data per day. It waits until the elliptical orbit, as TESS is orbiting the Earth, gets as close to Earth as possible, and then we pull it all as quick as we can. And it'll be terabytes and terabytes and terabytes of data when we're done. That we, like they said, we'll be pouring over for decades. This is the cusp of a brand new era of space exploration.
Wow.
And we're all part of it. It's really, really interesting. And again, that's why I wanted to bring it up in this week's science segment, because it's one of those missions, like the Juno mission, that we're going to want to revisit because the data that we get is going to be so exciting and so new.
It's going to be revelating.
Really is. Very cool.
What fuels you?
So this week, we got to talk to Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man. And not only is that an incredible conversation you don't want to miss premiering tomorrow on episode 72 of the podcast, but when we got to the question we ask every week, what fuels you, he talked about something that I'm not sure we've touched upon yet in this segment, and that is that he's grateful. He's grateful for his life, and that includes all of it. He had a very rough patch when he was wrestling. He had a rough patch in his marriage, in his family, and through all the ups and downs, he's found that he's grateful for the adventure that life has brought him on, and now he has this innate desire to give back to life, and I think that's excellent.
Yeah, I think what we're finding here a lot is that people who have lived through a lot of hardships, who have had a rough upbringing or a rough patch in their life, once things straighten out, they tend to have a large sense of gratefulness because they're not in the shit anymore. And it really gives you a perspective of how bad things can get and how good things really are. And I think that's a big reason why we see a lot of people who have gone through these hardships become so successful.
Yeah.
And a big part of that is being grateful. And gratefulness, what that does, it lends you a perspective and attitude that will be magnetic to those around you.
Yeah.
And I mean, who doesn't enjoy working with somebody who's incredibly grateful all the time?
Right.
That's literally a trait in somebody that we're all looking for at all times. And one of the best ways to get a sense of gratefulness is to live through that shit.
Yeah.
But also, you know, I have said this a lot in my life. When you deal with a situation that is unsavory, you either get bitter about it or you get better about it.
Ooh.
And the better is becoming grateful that you're not dealing with that anymore.
Yeah.
And that you have the experience of having gone through that and survived.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, to put it into a perspective of life is beautiful. So it's very easy to be grateful for the beautiful things in life, the successes in life, the things that make you want to wake up in the morning and you know, attack that day. Life also sucks.
Yeah.
You know, we all know it. Life, you know,
It's hard. There's a lot of suffering. There really is.
There really is. And that's harder to be grateful for. But, you know, you can find that even through the hardships, they make you a better person. They make your life, you know, maybe more enhanced. And just, it's a hard blanket statement because we all deal with shit. And, you know, sometimes it's really hard to look past it like anything's going to ever be better again. And I've been rock bottom. I get it. And so is Ted. Ted talked about, you know, the lowest parts of his life. But being able to really put that into perspective later in his life. And now he has his Heart of David ministry where he travels around the country and the world, you know, with this desire to give back. And that makes him grateful that he can do that he can take his you know, his feeling and impart it onto other people. And I just find that so inspiring because there are so many moments in everybody's life where you're like, it's never going to be good again.
Yeah, and
you know?
And even in the shit, you can find things to be grateful for.
Yeah.
Even down to the very bottom of suffering. The thing that you can always be grateful for is that suffering is the one thing that every person in the world has in common.
It's true.
We all suffer at some point, and a way to be grateful about suffering is knowing that you're learning what other people are going through, and you're going to have a deeper connection to those around you because you're truly understanding suffering.
Yeah. It's easy to say out loud. It's very hard to put into practice, and that's why I wanted to put it on What Fuels You this week, because it's something it's an answer we don't hear enough when we ask the question, what fuels you?
Well, you know, like you said, it's harder to do it than to say it, but one way to start doing it is by talking about it.
Yes.
By bringing it up, by thinking about it, by repeating it to yourself. It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen instantly. It's something that years down the road, after keeping this in your mind and looking for it in life, that you'll start to achieve it.
Right. Perspective. Hindsight is 20/20, you've heard. Perspective can give you a new outlook on life. And I know we've said this before, but a great way, like you said, is to talk about it. Start a podcast. One of the best things to do, start a journal. Keep a journal, and just the sheer fact of if you're going through, the shitty part of life, just the sheer fact of writing it down and then revisiting it later, you can see the silver lining in the shit sometimes.
Yep. Yeah.
And again, it's not easy. Life is not easy.
Yeah.
But to hear someone like Ted talk about gratefulness and the desire to want to give back and to want to, impart the inspiration of gratefulness on other people, it's inspiring. It's really cool.
Truth.
Community shout out.
All right, so this week community shout out I actually found via YouTube, which is pretty cool. Total Kathy, or on YouTube, Totally Kathy. Here she is. She's been vlogging her journey to lose 300 pounds.
Wow.
She also has a website, totalkathy.com, which I'll put here, and you can follow her along with her journey through her vlog, through her blog posts and that kind of stuff. Her highest weight ever was 527 pounds. And she's lost some of the weight before. In fact, in the 90s, she was used as a marketing tool for Richard Simmons when he was, very big in the whole weight loss thing.
Yeah.
And she lost weight through that and then unfortunately put it back on. And now she's on this determined journey to lose over 300 pounds. And she makes these videos on YouTube all the time. They're very inspirational. They're very, very cool to be able to follow somebody on a journey like this. And just in a recent one, she talked about her love of Death Wish coffee, and I thought that was really great. And I'll play that clip for you out of that video right here.
Oh, how I love coffee, and I'm so grateful for it. I am drinking my black coffee. Why is coffee so good on a gloomy day? I don't know. It just is. And this is twice as good today. But I do not have my favorite coffee. I have Hy-Vee brand coffee, which I like. It's great. But my favorite brand of coffee in the whole wide world is called Death Wish. It's the highest caffeinated coffee you can buy. It's very, very dark, and it's very, very strong. But it is so good. It's not bitter. It kind of has, if you're a coffee connoisseur, it has sort of chocolate notes. It doesn't taste like chocolate. It has that, I don't know how to explain it. Anyway, it's my favorite coffee. I love it mostly when I cold brew it because that takes out any bitterness because strong coffee, if you're doing a dark brew, it really does have sometimes a bite to it, no matter how you make it, no matter how end of a coffee maker you have. But Death Wish is the perfect cold brew. So, no, they don't pay me to say this. My channel is far too small for Death Wish to ever notice, but they sure have great coffee.
That's pretty great. It's great to see, people like her really. Not only does she want to change her life, but she wants to chronicle it. And I think that's so helpful for other people who want to go down that same journey, to be able to see someone else and be like, well, if Kathy can do it, so can I, kind of thing. It's awesome. So,
but most importantly, she loves Death Wish coffee.
Yes, most importantly. Most importantly. So Mugs Up this week, community shout out, Total Kathy, or Totally Kathy.
Happy birthday! Surprise! I'm naked.
That was one of our brand new bumps. I love Brock. He gave us a bunch of birthday bumps, so we'll be playing around with some of those, but I really liked that one to start it off, but because we have never had a little lead-in from him yet, and we do this birthday segment every week, so I thought that'd be fun. So let's get right into it. This week, Thursday, April 26th, first up, turning 85 years old, the iconic Carol Burnett. And you probably know her from television, from movies, from all different comedy specials. She has been deemed literally one of the funniest women ever to be on television. She's got a Golden Globe. I think she's got a Tony. She's got an Emmy. She's just the best. Obviously, one of her most favorite things is the very popular Carol Burnett show, which of course she was on, because why would they name it Carol Burnett show and they wouldn't ask her to be a part of it?
I have no idea who this person is.
Really? She's a lot before your time. But if you're like Dustin out there and you've never heard of Carol Burnett, look up on YouTube, just type in Carol Burnett, look at some of the most hit videos out there. Her comedy's timeless. She's so super funny. Carol Burnett show I used to watch with my parents when I was a kid. Really, really funny lady. So
Jeff, you're straight out of the fucking 20s. You know
really am. Buy a pape. It's the best 20s I can do. But happy birthday to Carol. On Friday, April 27th, rock and roller Ace Frehley's going to be 67 years old. This guy just won't quit. Just will not quit. Between his solo work and that work with that band. What was that band that Ace was in? Oh, yeah, Sick. But Sick backwards is Kiss. That's frickin' right. Kiss. He's Starman from Kiss, by the way. Man,
you couldn't
Ace,
tell by the stars on his face.
Couldn't tell. Man, Ace is the best. Throwback to last week's podcast episode with comic book writer Amy Chu. She just finished up her run writing the Kiss comic, where Ace was obviously a part of it. So happy birthday to him. On Sunday, April 29th, we got 2 birthdays, starting with comedian Jerry Seinfeld. Is going to be 64 years old. Obviously, from the hit TV series Seinfeld. Also, all of his stand-up specials. And if you're a fan of Jerry and coffee, you should check out his show. It was on YouTube. Now it's on. All the episodes are on Netflix. That is Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee. I love this show. I devoured it all when it was on YouTube, and then I rewatched them all when it got onto Netflix. He talks to some of the greatest comedians out there, including Mr. Steve Martin, and he shows up to pick them up in a crazy cool car that he picks specifically for the guest that he's going to have on the show. They drive around, talk about comedy for a little bit, and then they inevitably meet at a coffee shop and have some coffee. And it's awesome. I really enjoy the show. Did you watch the show?
I hate Jerry Seinfeld.
You hate Jerry Seinfeld. All right. Well,
I don't know who Carol Burnett is, and Seinfeld could go fuck himself. So
this is a great show.
Next birthday.
Well, also Sunday, April 29th, Willie Nelson is still kicking. He's 85 years old. He's actually
now you're speaking my language.
He's actually coming right into our backyard this summer to perform.
Look at that guitar.
I know. It was just recently announced by Snoop Dogg that the only man in the world who's ever been able to smoke more weed than Snoop Dogg is this man right here.
Amazing.
And that's amazing because Snoop Dogg is known for smoking weed.
Yeah.
So is Willie, though.
Yeah.
So Willie has been doing it. Man, I think his first television appearance was in either like the late 40s or early 50s. Like,
it's crazy.
He has been doing it forever and still going strong.
Yeah, it must be that marijuana kills you because it's just been taking him out the whole way.
Right? Right? 85 he's going to be celebrating on this Sunday.
85, still playing on stage, still touring. Marijuana's evil.
Yeah, something like that. On Monday, the last day of April, April 30th, the very lovely Gal Gadot is going to be 33 years old. I'm pretty sure it's Gal Gadot, but I could be wrong. Maybe it's Gal Gadot. I've heard it in interviews as both, so one of us got it right and one of us got it wrong.
I took French. It's Gal Gadot.
All right, it's Gal Gadot. All right.
But I totally get it because it's hard to pronounce. But yeah, my name is Gal Gadot.
She could be 33. Started out as a model, as just as basically breaking into the business the way that you want to break in, kind of just dipping her toes in, trying to get those roles, trying to, get the jobs that she could get until she became one of the most iconic people you could probably ever come to become on the big screen, and that's Wonder Woman. Love or hate the Marvel or DC movies, the superhero movies out there, Wonder Woman was an incredibly fun movie to watch, and boy, did she kill it as that character.
I disagree.
Dustin's a hater. If you guys are just tuning into the show for the first time, Dustin usually hates everything. So that's fine. But
I thought she looked great.
Well,
I thought the movie was okay, but I didn't think she was that good at acting.
Well, I did. I thought she was great. And I've yet to see Justice League, where she's also in there with also all the rest of
I
the
like her though.
superheroes.
I do like her. I just don't think she's great for that part. That's
No,
all.
I disagree. I think she is perfect as Wonder Woman. And
Let's
it's
fight
awesome to
about
see
it.
All right. We won't fight about it. Speaking of movies, though, on Tuesday, May 1st, director Wes Anderson is going to be 49 years old. Boy, this guy has made a name for himself making some of the strangest movies out there. And if you're a fan of dialogue, then you definitely like Wes Anderson movies. But I mean, one of my favorites of all time, The Royal Tenenbaums, one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. And the cast is just incredible, the amount of people that are in this movie. Love that movie. Also known for countless others. Another one of my favorites I'm putting up, The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou, with Dr. Zissou. Frickin' Bill Murray at his peak Bill Murray-ness, I guess you could say. Did you ever see this movie?
I've never seen this movie or the last movie.
Oh, wow. Have you ever seen Rushmore?
Nope.
Have you ever? Oh, wow, really? So have you ever seen Grand Budapest Hotel?
No.
Wow, so you just know Wes Anderson for you. Well, I can't wait to see.
I avoid those movies. I think they suck.
They are awesome. I don't understand how you think they suck. I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see his newest movie, Isle of Dogs. If you guys haven't seen the trailer for this,
That looks good.
This movie looks
good.
so cool.
Did he do Moonrise Kingdom? It looks like the type of movie he would do.
I'm not sure if that was Wes Anderson or not.
It's
Tell
all
me
very,
if
it's
it
all
was.
very comedic, but also very artsy
Mhm.
and also very dry.
Yeah.
It's not really my style.
Yeah.
Not that I actually think these movies suck. I just don't like them.
Gotcha. Well, I think they're awesome. I love every time Wes Anderson does another movie. I'm so excited for it, including this new one, Isle of Dogs. I can't wait to see it. Finally this week, Wednesday, May 2nd, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is going to be 46 years old. Started out in the same vein as our guest on the podcast this week, you know, in the wrestling community as The Rock. I think I have a picture of him. There he is from his early days. Can you smell what The Rock is cooking? Used to be his catchphrase with the people's elbow and the people's eyebrow and all that. He was a good guy, then he was a bad guy, then he was a good guy again, and then he was a bad guy again. And then he decided he wanted to break into acting. And the first role that he did was a CGI character in The Mummy 2. It was The Mummy 2. He was the Scorpion King.
Yep.
And then they made the movie about the
That was his
Scorpion
first
King.
role?
Yeah.
No shit.
His first big role. And I remember watching both The Mummy 2 with him in it and then the Scorpion King. And I was like, I don't know. If this
That wasn't a good movie.
Yeah, I
It
don't
wasn't fair.
I don't know if he's going to, make it because a lot of wrestlers try to do that. They try to,
Yeah.
break into acting. It's
But
like,
then he did that movie with Jackass with
Johnny Knoxville?
Johnny Knoxville.
I don't know if I saw that movie.
Oh man, I can't remember the name of it. I'll look it up in a second.
Yeah.
But I remember when that movie came out, it was both like, oh shit, The Rock and Johnny Knoxville can act.
Oh.
No.
He's done a ton of movies. He's done kids' movies. He's done, obviously, the Fast and Furious franchise he's a part of now. He's getting into the disaster movies lately. He did San Andreas.
Walking Tall.
I did see that movie.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
That was a good movie. He's in the new movie Rampage that's coming out.
With our buddy Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Yep. I got to say, though, one of his most recent roles, he wasn't even on screen. He just did the voice of it. Such a good movie. So funny in this role. He was the god Maui in the movie Moana. And if any of you guys got kids out there, you probably have seen this movie incessantly.
Eric won't shut up about it.
Yes, yeah.
Eric says he has to watch it every day.
I'm sure he does because his daughter probably absolutely loves it like every other little kid out there. But I'm a sucker for Disney movies too, and they knocked this one out of the park. And The Rock was absolutely hilarious as this character. So if you haven't seen that, I would recommend it. So happy birthday to him on Wednesday, and happy birthday to everybody this week.
I smell a roast.
Does it smell like traveling folk? I didn't know where to go with that.
Yeah.
Does it smell like the inside of an airplane or a bus where the air is just recycled? So like anybody who does anything gross, you have to deal with it too?
Right. And that's kind of where the roast comes. Demon and myself just got back from an adventure. We took planes to get to a big old cruise ship. But I mean, whether or not you're traveling by plane or by train or by bus or by car or by
boat.
boat or whatever it is. Why do people have to be a dick when you're on public transportation? I don't understand
It's
it.
like an art form. There's many ways to be a dick. You know, you can be mean to the people who are servicing you, which is like, why the fuck would you do that?
Yeah.
They're just trying to make it okay for everybody. And if they're correcting you, you're an asshole.
Yeah.
And you need to be corrected.
And, you know, I bring it up because, you know, obviously people, you deal with this when you're on public transportation like buses or trains. But the big one is always planes. And people get mad at the security on planes because, you know, we have to wait much longer to get through security checkpoints now. But that's to keep us all safe. You know, and those poor TSA agents, they just want to go home to their families too. They don't want to deal with us being dicks, you know. And
listen, it's a rough situation for everybody. TSA doesn't make a lot of money. They're not very well trained.
Right.
And we have to deal with a lot of shit getting through there. But you being an asshole isn't going to help anybody. It's not going to help you. It's not going to help TSA. It's not going to help the people behind you. You're just an asshole again.
And one of the other things is, you know, when you're on a plane is the flight attendants. And they've had so many horror stories of dealing with, you know, passengers that just don't respect other people. That's the thing. If you're going to be traveling on public transportation, you're going to be stuck with other human beings on public transportation for an indeterminate amount of time.
And listen, we're not asking
Don't be a dick.
We're not asking you to not be a jerk for, like, you know, your whole life. Just a few fucking hours. Just turn it down a notch. Like, be considerate just for a few fucking hours. Don't eat crunchy, loud, stinky food.
Yeah.
Don't be farting a whole bunch. Fucking wash your mouth out.
Wash
your
body.
armpits out.
Yeah.
Like, don't go in there with fucking stinky, rotten balls. Take a shower, asshole.
Yeah.
Take a shower. You're literally crunched in as close as you're ever going to be to anybody in an encapsulated piece of shit, and you're only on there for a couple hours. Just keep it together, man.
Yeah, it boggles my mind that people feel so entitled that they don't have to care about everybody else around them. And I can't wrap my brain around it sometimes. And, you know, we travel a lot. And one of the things, and I want to say this right now, what I'm not talking about is people with small children or babies. Everybody has to travel. Babies definitely don't like to be cooped up. You know, or little kids don't like to be cooped up. So, you know, there are good traveling babies and kids out there, and there are ones that'll want to scream and cry. And I get it. And, you know, and I feel for the parents all the time. That's why I'm never having kids. I feel for those parents all the time that have to deal with it, and they do their best to do it. But, I mean, even then, people can take that to the extreme. I read this. This is the most horrific story I read on the internet. Was a flight attendant talking about how a woman had her child, a very young baby, and put down her tray table and decided to change the baby's poopy diaper on the tray table while sitting in her seat, and then used her neighbor's tray table basically to put the dirty diaper on as she was putting the clean diaper on, and her neighbor had, you know, like the peanuts and the drink on it and all that stuff. How disgusting is that? Like, would you do that in like any other setting? No, you
Would you
wouldn't.
do that at dinner?
No.
You know?
Like, it boggles my mind. I was on a plane once where this guy was playing music really loudly from his iPod or his phone, and with no headphones, to the point where people around him, he was like rows above me or in front of me, the people around him kept asking him to turn it down, and the flight attendants kept asking him to turn it down, and he kept getting indignant about it. Why? Like, you're literally you're stuck like sardines on a plane for a couple hours. Like, if you didn't bring headphones, you know, you're tough luck. Maybe they'll provide headphones for you. Some flights do that. Or you could borrow your neighbor's, or you can just fucking deal.
Just deal with a couple hours. It's just a couple hours, people. Listen, on the way back from Fort Lauderdale, where we flew out of, there was this kid sitting behind me, and for the 3 hours that we were on the plane,
yep,
he was sniffing the whole time for 3 straight hours.
Yeah.
And every, I don't know, 10 minutes to half an hour, the parents would go, so-and-so, stop sniffing. Listen, give the kid a fucking tissue.
Yeah.
He obviously needs to blow his nose.
Yeah. Again, we're not trying to get into a parenting argument here, but I mean, just be
A
respectful.
sniffing kid needs a tissue. That's not a parent argument. It's common sense.
It's just be respectful of others if you're gonna use public transportation. It's the same. Like I said, it's the same thing that goes for planes, buses, trains.
I want to hear what you guys deal with.
Yeah, I would love to hear that while we're while we're talking about this. Put it in the comments. What are some crazy horror stories you guys have dealt with when dealing with public transportation? We've all done it. We've all had to take a bus somewhere or a plane somewhere, and
or even sat in a car with a jerk for a few hours.
Another, and this is getting into that whole dick thing. I've seen horror stories like this before of passengers getting on planes specifically and immediately thinking that they are the king of the plane. So rules don't apply to them. Seatbelt signs on, they don't care. They can walk around and talk to the flight attendants. They demand pillows and blankets, which a lot of planes don't have anymore. You know what I mean? Unless you're on red eyes or whatever.
Yeah.
They demand, specific drinks and food and demand, to be seated better and all this crap. And it's like, you're no different than anyone else unless you pay for it.
Yeah.
If you're flying first class, then yes, you're different than the rest of us back in business or in coach because you freaking paid for it or you're a celebrity or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, whatever.
I don't know. I've never flown first class, so I don't know what they do.
I have
up
no
there.
idea what it's like.
I can't imagine what it must like to go through life and just this shit doesn't affect you. You're just a dick.
If you're sitting here listening to this being like, is that me? Because I've had a lot of flight attendants and TSA agents give me shit. Well, I'll tell you what. Big surprise. It is you. You're an asshole. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, but good news is you can change.
Yeah, you can change. It just hit me this week because we traveled a bunch, and it's just like it boggles my mind. We're not stuck together forever. We're not best friends now. I don't have to see you at family reunions.
No, fuck you too, Jeff.
No, I mean, just people on public transportation. It's like all we're doing is we're spending a measly couple hours together, and I think we can all just be respectful of each other.
If you can't keep it together, you don't deserve to travel. You should probably just stay in your shitty little hole and just eventually die.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
D-Man's Death Wish Update. Brought to you by Death Wish Coffee.
All right, D-Man. Well, this week, got some fun stuff to talk about. First off, I want to say, starting tomorrow and tomorrow only, we're running a really special deal at Death Wish Coffee. If you go to the website, you'll get an email in the morning, but if you go to the website tomorrow, you're going to have a chance to get our duffel bag that we released previously. And, I mean, we basically haven't had it out there for a while, but now you'll be able to get it. And here, if you don't know what we're talking about, it's right here.
And let me clarify. You will get a chance. You'll figure out how to get one of these bad boys. Not all the stuff that we had inside it. We had a few bags left over. And we knew it was a huge hit, so we're giving you guys a chance to get a hold of this.
I love this bag. I use it. I actually travel with this bag with the podcast sometimes because it fits all of our equipment. If we're like doing like a day trip, or I don't have to worry about like a hard shell case for like traveling on a plane or something. It's a great bag. I know a lot of people use it as a gym bag.
That's what I use it for every day.
If I can find the photo, one of our awesome fans out there, I saw that you carry your snake in it.
Yeah, that's a good snake bag.
It's a great snake bag. Your snake fits right in it. I thought that was freaking rad. But yeah, so tomorrow there's going to be a chance through being able to purchase through our website that you'll be able to get one of these bad boys for your very own, which is really, really cool. I love making cool different products like this with just a coffee company. Like, what other coffee company gives you a killer travel, duffel bag
that you can put your snake in?
Yeah.
A snake bag.
A snake bag.
The Death Wish snake bag. Brought to you by the makers of Snake Bag. Death Wish.
Also, we talked about it on the show recently, and if you guys have not seen our blog or our new contest that just came out, we told you that we are coming out with a brand new set of diner mugs. Just on the heels of the last ones. I think we like these.
Yeah, these are nice.
Here's a mock-up image of them if you missed it. We just kind of put the words the way they're going to look like on pictures of the black mugs. But so they'll look, obviously you can see it's a little Photoshop, but they'll look a little bit better than this. But we love this. We love this design, the company that we work with. We can't say enough good things about these mugs. And if you go over to this right now, deathwishcoffee.com/diner mug set, you can have a chance to win these 2 mugs before anyone else gets them. We're going to choose a winner on the Facebook Live on Friday, so you have a couple days left to enter. And just go to this link and go on over, and you can enter for those mugs. It's so cool. How many of these things do you think we're going to do a year?
4 or 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's something we want to keep up because they're really awesome items. People love them, and they're great for our memes.
Yeah.
And we have so many memes. So,
and I got to tell
we'll
you
keep it
guys,
rolling.
this one that says, I want a coffee, a tattoo, and a vacation, you can't plan when things go viral. You just, that's not the way the internet works. You can't go and say, I'm going to make a viral video or I'm going to make a viral post. And this was a normal type meme that, Sierra came up with. Like, it's in her normal voice of creating our memes. Never would have thought that it would have caught fire like it did. And it went viral. It literally went viral. I could not believe it.
Yeah, it was, it's awesome. And so, yeah, you'll be seeing these a lot more. We'll be releasing them all the time, but they are limited. So if you want one, make sure you get it.
Yeah, for sure. What else we got?
Oh, shit. We might be in Walmart soon. And by might, I mean we will be in 1,600 Walmarts with this product, Death Wish 18-count K-Cups, or Death Cups, as we like to call them.
We talked about this previously, that we are going to be in Walmart. Really, really excited. Over 1,600 stores across the nation we're going to be in. And once everything is finalized and we're ready to go, we're actually putting together a interactive map so you guys will be able to see exactly which store, where it is, which one's closest to you that you'll be able to get it. But yeah, the first product that we're rolling out in Walmart is our Death Cups. And I wanted to talk to you about this a little bit because we had to create kind of a brand new packaging for this because Walmart retail wanted them to be 18 count, and up till now we only did them in 10 and in 50.
So now that we're moving into the wholesale and retail world, Walmart does a thing where they pretty much did the math where they know that a person comes to shop at a Walmart every so often. And in that span of days, how much of a certain product do they need? So in that certain span of days, 18 K-Cups will last them the perfect amount of time. So that's what they wanted. And as you know, we haven't created that yet. So yeah, we just came out with a brand new product. Thomas Dragonetti, as always, came out with an awesome design for the box.
It looks so good.
Yeah, it looks
this is going to look
good.
Great, like right on the shelf when you're walking by it.
Yeah, I think it'll catch a lot of eyes, especially people who have not tried us before and want to come over to the dark side. I think we'll make a lot of converts out of this.
Yeah.
But also, we'll make it more convenient for those of you who are fans of us and are at a Walmart that they'll be selling this nearby. I think it's the 1,600 nicest Walmarts. It's what they're doing. And I think they're trying to start like a strong coffee section. And what better strong coffee to have than the world's best and strongest coffee, Death Wish coffee.
Yes, yes. I'm so excited for this to roll out. It's going to start in early June, and you'll start to see those pop
Actually,
up.
I think it's starting earlier than that.
Oh, even better.
Yeah.
Well, we'll let you know. Like I said, once they're absolutely on shelves, you'll be the first to hear about it on this show and through the newsletter. And like with that interactive map, you'll be able to know exactly which Walmart is closest to you. And if you already enjoy our Death Cups, it'll be that much easier to get them.
Yeah, and in the retail world in general, we keep on signing on more and more retailers and more stores, and we'll make that easier for you to locate in just a little bit of time, but we're going to be fucking everywhere, man. We are world domination, virus takeover. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be like that movie Outbreak with Dustin Hoffman.
Yes.
Except for instead of crazy monkeys, it's going to be crazy caffeinated freaks like you.
Yes. So we're really excited. So keep staying tuned for more info on that Walmart deal, and then also some more news from Death Wish Coffee on the update next week.
That's the show.
That's the show, guys. Just so you know, we have lights on in the studio, and one of them is on the fritz, so that's probably why you see some of the lighting kind of got a little darker on my side and
is flashing a little bit. Yeah, if we gave you an epileptic seizure, I deeply apologize. Drink more coffee, you'll be fine.
But one last time, share this entire show. Comment, share it in those comments. We're gonna give one lucky winner this 2018 Death Wish Coffee Hammer mug. And we're going to sign the bottom, send it right out to you, as always. We'll choose that winner as soon as this show signs off. Thank you guys so much for watching and sharing the show. We can't thank you enough. The viewership grows every single time. Every week we do this, and we're so thankful that we can bring some entertainment along with some caffeination, and that's a lot of fun. And follow us on social media. Like I was saying before, the best way to learn more about the show, more about the company, is some sneak peeks that Dustin and myself will give you on Instagram and on Twitter and those types of avenues. It's very easy. I am at Jeff Wish Coffee.
And I am at Death Wish Dust.
It's that cool. Once again,
is it that cool, Jeff?
It is that cool.
Is it actually cool?
It's super cool.
It is kind of cool.
Thank you guys for watching. Please don't forget, tune in tomorrow to the incredible episode 72 of the podcast that features the $1 Million Man, Mr. Ted DiBiase. Can't wait for you to hear that interview. It was so cool to talk with him. And we'll be back next week with a brand new show and the super awesome spectacular from the Salty Dog Cruise. Goodbye, guys.
Cheers.
Bye.